Coming up on this episode of Iowa Life, we'll connect with a community of competitive pumpkin growers.
And once you get that one to the scale, it's like hooked. You just want to get better and better every year.
We'll find out what it's like to be a page in the Iowa House of Representatives.
My favorite part is probably getting to know the legislators, all the representatives, and to hear where they've come from and how they got here.
We'll meet a man who's keeping the radio waves strong in Mason City.
I'm Bob Fisher reporting. Local radio is that friend that people can always tune to. It's always going to be there.
And we'll visit Spook Cave near McGregor.
This is actually the largest room here in the cave. It is about 45 feet tall.
It's all coming up next on Iowa Life.
Funding for Iowa Life is provided by
The Pella Roll Screen Foundation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS. Pella Windows and Doors strives to better our communities and build a better tomorrow.
and by the Laney Grimm Fund for Inclusive Programming at the Iowa PBS Foundation.
Hi, I'm Charity Nebbe, and this is Iowa Life. The Iowa State Capitol is the political and historical heart of our state. The people who work here play many roles. They shape policy and make decisions that affect our daily lives. Young people have a place here too, and in a few minutes we'll learn about some of the contributions they can make. But first, we're going to meet some pumpkin growers. Pumpkin growers who are thinking big. Every fall, pumpkins pop up all over the place, and some Iowa communities have woven one renowned variety into a giant spectacle.
This is our second year of doing it, and there was a lot of wind this year too. But listen, these are 700-pound pumpkins falling out of the sky.
Holy cow! Oh my goodness!
That little bit of breeze isn't gonna make them move that much, so, and they hit just perfect again. I was hearing 4 months later how neat and how cool that was, you know.
These are not your ordinary pie or carving pumpkins. They are a variety originally from South America, and when they're planted in Iowa soils, the results are huge.
The largest one that we ever had, a 2,283-pound pumpkin.
Known for their novelty, not their flavor, the behemoths have found a home at agricultural fairs of all size and scale since the mid-1800s, ballooning from a world record 403 pounds in 1904 to the 2,749-pound record set in 2023, thanks to some modern know-how.
It'll carry all the nutrients. Once I get that dusting, the roots will make contact with that after I water.
Replanted and crossbred, given away or sold, sharing seeds keeps the competition going.
Attention all units. Sheriff Davis, we sincerely thank you for your loyal and dedicated service.
Recently retired Davis County Sheriff Dave Davis started the Bloomfield Way Off 10 years ago, long before the pumpkin drops began. A farm kid with a green thumb, he was hooked after seeing them while working at the Iowa State Fair.
One thing that we try and do is vine bearing. It's supposed to make them roots just go everywhere. The more of that you got, more water, more nutrients you got. Try and push that pumpkin. It kind of gets in your blood. I'm just like a little kid at Christmas time, and I know my little granddaughter, she's getting excited seeing these things grow for the state fair.
The official is 1,294 pounds.
Iowa Department of Agriculture Weights and Measures Coordinator Ivan Hankins has emceed and officiated weigh-offs since the 1990s.
And who's this little pumpkin?
He says at the center of what might seem outlandish is good-hearted community.
I don't know if I'd call them a cult. I suppose you could. The pumpkin cult, you know. They don't gather in dark rooms. They go out and they share their secrets.
2024 marked Hankins' second call of a Dave Davis State Fair win against hefty competition.
Almost. 1286. That means should have brought the big one.
Oh yeah, we have some fun little banter back and forth. We're pretty fortunate to have Pete right here in Iowa with us. I beat Pete at the fair, but that was because I had my good luck charm, my little 4-year-old granddaughter helping me, so. Show 'em your trophy.
Although their size is impressive at summer competitions, giant pumpkins reach their peak in the fall. That's when state and world records are set.
I got the Iowa state record at 2,424 pounds.
Pete Kaspers is chasing a dream he's had since middle school, being the first Iowan to set a new world record.
Once you get that one to the scale, it's like hooked. You just want to get better and better every year. And it took a long time to get better.
Kaspers was just named president of the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth, the international body overseeing rules and standards for quirky competitive produce weigh-offs. It's a personal achievement, but also recognition of increasingly impressive pumpkins grown in Iowa.
The first year, the largest pumpkin came from Garnerville, Iowa. Everybody was just in awe. It took their breath away. Nobody had seen a pumpkin weighing 252 pounds in Iowa. It was unheard of.
Of the over 100 sites across the globe sanctioned by the GPC, 2 are in Iowa, Bloomfield and Anamosa. Along with daughter Katie, Greg and Nancy Norland have organized the Ryan Norland Giant Pumpkin Weigh-Off for decades. It's dedicated to their son, who had been his uncle's helper in the pumpkin patch.
In the summer of 1980, on July 9th, obviously you never forget that, we lost our son to a tragic drowning accident on the Mississippi River. And because of that, my brother, Tom, who started this weigh-off, wanted to name the weigh-off in memory of Ryan. We became the 11th weigh-off site in North America at that time.
Anamosa embraced the contest, and in 1993, the town was proclaimed the pumpkin capital of Iowa.
Been wonderful in memory of our son, and it's going to continue to grow.
This guy right here from Piasta, originally from Anamosa.
Families like the Kaspers are evidence of that spread. Pete's daughter Alba and father Rusty have both taken up the grower mantle.
Yeah, he's been doing it since he's a little kid. I finally quit working on the road. I had more time to get into things like this. I started working with my grandpa in the garden at 4 years old. And I got a picture of Pete with 2 years old helping me. So it's cool to go the way off with Pete and watch him win.
But yeah, I got pictures of her out here in her diaper and her sunglasses, just talking to the pumpkins.
Pete grows multiple pumpkins to compete at several weigh-offs, and though he won Bloomfield handily, he is both strategic and sentimental when it comes to Anamosa.
I was a grade ahead of Ryan Norland when the drowning accident happened. I'm childhood friends with him and his older sister. They were a grade behind me and a grade ahead of me. So I got history with Anamosa. That'll always be my hometown. So big one always goes to Anamosa. Yeah, I could have won the fair. Yeah, I could have brought the big one.
Great care is taken in moving these harvests. Cracks and other damage are instant disqualifiers, so reaching the scale intact is essential.
The pumpkin master, his knuckles are white on the wheel as he drives forward. The official weight, 1,933 and a half pounds.
You got the win. I was not expecting that. I mean, winning Anamosa, that's like top notch right there.
You got first!
Kaspers intends to take time off after the season, but next year is always on the horizon. In the meantime, as everyone involved gets back to business as usual, some can't help but ponder the gravity of what they've witnessed.
Iowa is about a lot of goofy stuff. We have celebrations for anything.
I've watched this whole thing grow from a 300-pound, 200-pound pumpkin up to a 1,200, up to a 2,200-pound pumpkin. One of these guys is going to pull it off one of these days. I hope I'm around to call the numbers. To have a world record would be another bright star for Iowa.
Across the country, legislative page programs offer high school students a front row seat to see our government in action. It's a tradition that helps to create future leaders, engaged citizens, and public servants. We spent some time with the pages of the Iowa House of Representatives to find out more about their role.
It's definitely different days every single day. Nothing's the same ever.
So I come in at about 7:50 a.m.
We have committee meetings and subcommittee meetings, and then we're on the floor.
Representatives will ask you to do things for them.
Get whatever they need, like bills or coffee or whatever.
It's not even really that gradual. Like 1 week it'll be slow, and then the week after that, just really hammered down and put on the gas.
The House will be in order. The prayer today will be offered by Representative Gustava Hoke. Following the prayer, the pledge will be led by Samantha Olson, our page from Ankeny.
So for this week one, Olivia, I have you on the bill room, okay? Switchboard, Irina, I have you on the switchboard this week, okay?
Iowa House switchboard, how can I direct your call?
And then mail room and printers. Peyton, I have you on that this week, okay? So you're all set? Okay, okay, good.
The Iowa legislature hires pages each session to assist in the House and Senate chambers. They're high school students from all over the state, selected from a competitive pool of applicants. It's a paying job, and they gain valuable experience in government.
To 20 over the speed limit.
You can walk just right up that.
We give them a couple of weeks to get their feet on the ground. They spend most of their day on the floor passing notes out, passing mail to different desks.
Notes come in, they're handed to a doorkeeper. The doorkeeper brings them over to a desk and presses this button, which alerts us on our board that sits right behind me. And the board will tell us where it's coming from.
And so then we take it to the representative. If they're not here, we go back and say, hey, do you want to leave a message for them because they're not here currently? Or if they are here, we send them out and they go out and talk to them.
Periodically, they'll give us tasks like I've had to put stamps on envelopes. Pretty much just anything the representatives ask us to do for them that we are there to do. We make their load a bit lighter.
The bill here tries to clean up any confusion that we might have had between.
We run the subcommittees and committees.
So we get here about 10, 15 minutes before the meeting starts and log into the computer and get the live stream up and running, and then we just sit.
Anybody can join, the public can join. They don't get to talk on there, they can talk in person. I truthfully didn't know anything that happened, like the subcommittees to committees and then to the floor, and then it goes to the Senate, or the Senate sends it over here, and then it goes to the governor. So all like the processes is really interesting.
We have a page uniform that we wear every day. They supply us with our blazers, pants, and the only thing that we get freedom on is our shirts, but they have to be white.
I think the biggest two rules that stood out to me was you can't walk down the middle aisle.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the House.
We can't cross the line of vision between the speaker and a representative who's talking to them in session or in debate, things like that.
We also have to be respectful, understand that they are a lot higher position than us, and that is our job, is to do the things that they ask us to do.
We tell the pages that just like the rest of the staff, the professional staff that are here year-round that work for that same office, we're kind of statues on the floor. We don't show emotion. We don't show eye rolls if somebody says something that we don't agree with, and we definitely do not clap or cheer on the floor. It's a decorum. It's a set of rules that help this place function in the heat of emotion.
I am a state representative from House District 6, which is basically Spencer to Storm Lake. When I became a page, it allowed me an opportunity to move to Des Moines, be in an apartment with a couple other pages, friends. You know, I came in this scared, meek, 17-year-old page, and I found a network of people that fit me really well. I gained a lot of confidence. I got to interact with legislators and people in a world that I really wanted to be a part of. And so I really think it helped me kind of find my way and be more confident in where I was headed.
My favorite part is probably getting to know the legislators, all the representatives, and to hear where they've come from and how they got here.
I've met a couple of my best friends here, so that's been awesome.
So for me, this is my first real job experience, and I think it is a really, really good place to start. It has taught me how to be professional.
You're welcome. I think young people have an amazing role to play at the Capitol because they provide that energy, but also a good reminder of why we're here and that they matter too, and that we need to remember why we're talking about Regent funding and why we're talking about our colleges and why we're talking about being career ready and why we're talking about making sure that we have our young people have the skill sets that are needed in our environment and our economy.
To see all the legislators work together, even if they oppose each other and what they believe is different, they still are civil and they work together really well. And something I'm going to remember of how to do that and how I can achieve to be like them.
I love this building a lot. It's pretty much my favorite building ever. So I love being here and being able to be here every day.
It's an amazing opportunity.
Traditional media, that includes newspapers, television, and radio, is struggling today. Changes in technology and declining ad revenues are just a few of the reasons people might want to get out of the media business. But not Bob Fisher. He is a news and sports broadcaster in Mason City, and he is determined to stay in radio because of the impact it has on his community.
Now the weather. Temperature at 8 o'clock, 68 degrees.
Radio. It's a medium that's been around for over a century, informing, educating, and entertaining audiences around the world. In recent years, though, traditional radio broadcasting has faced headwinds with the rise in podcasting and streaming. In 2023, automakers even made moves to eliminate AM radio entirely from new vehicles. Yet, radio remains a valuable asset to communities, especially small towns and rural areas.
Good morning. Here's a look at local news this hour from the NorthIowaNow.com newsroom here on 98.7 Kiss Country. I'm Bob Fisher reporting.
Mason City native Bob Fisher has worked full-time in the field of broadcasting since 1995.
County line last week.
There's some people that know me for just doing news. There's some people that know me for just doing sports.
Bob covers the communities of Mason City and Clear Lake around the clock, often starting his workday at 5 a.m. with the morning newscast, then covering meetings around town later in the day, and sometimes not clocking out until after the final whistle at a high school football game.
It can mean some very long days, but it's definitely just part of the job.
Yep. Well, hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad.
People need to know what's going on in their community. They need to know, if there's major crime going on, if there's an uptick in crime, they need to know what their city council, their board of supervisors, they need to know what their legislators are doing, because obviously those actions by those groups obviously have an impact on their lives. There's great projects going on in the community as well, whether that's, city government based or not. There's still a lot of great organizations in town that do a lot of great things for the people in our area. Those stories need to be told as well.
Good afternoon. Here's a look at local news this hour from the NorthIowaNow.com newsroom here on 103.7 The Fox. I'm Bob Fisher reporting.
Like many communities in Iowa and across the country, the Mason City Clear Lake area in recent years has faced a decline in comprehensive news and sports coverage across radio, television, and newspaper platforms.
I'm Bob Fisher reporting.
In May of 2024, Bob experienced firsthand the rapidly changing media landscape when he was laid off from his job of nearly 30 years. Bob said the parent company of his employer had decided to terminate many local on-air personalities in their smaller markets across the country in favor of more syndicated shows. That effectively eliminated local news and sports programming that many people had come to rely on.
Yeah, the whole backlash on social media and then people coming up to me, I would go out to some ball games and people would come up to me, or I'd be out in public just in general and people come up to me and say, "We miss you guys on the radio.
How are you?
We miss hearing local news." I mean, that was a total reinforcement of local radio still being relevant in our North Central Iowa area.
Bob was without a job for 3.5 months until he was hired by another local radio group.
We've known Bob for years, and he's been a great competitor when we weren't working together, and he was kind of the king of news in North Iowa.
Well, Mayor. Thou art our greatest.
Bob knows what is important, and he is available to cover what's important. He doesn't just work 8 to 5. If there's a meeting at night, if there's a big event, he's there. He puts out good, honest news. People know he's going to cover events, and so people respect him and listen to him.
All right, we better get up there. I see the clock says 20, so we better. Thank you. Good to see you, Mayor. Okay, we're going on in about 20 seconds, I think. I hope. A lot of people probably don't realize how much equipment goes along with all these broadcasts. They think we probably just show up 5 minutes before the game and sit down in the seat and have a good time, but that's not the case. You got to prepare with the equipment. We've got to prepare with the getting starting lineups and things like that, and making sure that everything works to get this game on the air. Dave, we've got a good football team here that's coming back from last year.
Radio broadcasting, I think, ties people together. Local radio is that friend that people can always tune to. It's always going to be there.
5:35 to go here in the first. Decision time for Clear Lake. Lions converted 40% of the time on 4th down last year. Here's 4th and goal to 3. The pitch to Dodge around the right side. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. Clear Lake Lions.
Whether they want to listen to music, whether they need the news or want to listen to the sports, it's something that people can rely on as a service to the community.
Clear Lake 14, Forest City nothing. Let's take a 30-second break and come back after this.
Grandparents can't always get to games. People want to know what the heck happened down the street. That's what keeps radio relevant in small towns. Going out and seeing kids be successful, whether it's in sports, whether it's in fine arts, whether it's just in anything that they do at school. It's great to tell those stories.
Back to Lions Field we come with 4:38 to go in the ball game. 2nd and 10 at the left side, hash mark 16. Handoff, Wilson again. And he veers off the right side. He gets inside the 10.
It's great to tell the successes and the challenges as well that are going on in our communities.
41-14 final score on the Clear Lake Bank and Trust scoreboard.
Wanting to just tell that story and continuing to want to tell those stories is what keeps me wanting to continue to do radio.
That's going to wrap things up here from Lions Field tonight. For Dave Fritz, Bob Fisher, so long from Lions Field in Clear Lake.
Caves are the stuff of myth and legend. In our imaginations, they are filled with mystery, hidden dangers, and treasure waiting to be discovered. In reality, they are unique geological formations with a rich history. Iowa's caves may not be the largest in the world, but they are still packed with adventure.
We will be giving you a cave tour through Spook Cave here in McGregor, Iowa. Before it was called Spook Cave, it was actually called Spook Hole. That is because right here, there was a 6-inch hole that had spooky noises coming out of it. It was unknown what the sources of those spooky noises were, until a brave old man by the name of Gerald Milkey asked the property owners if he could dynamite his way into that hole to see what the noise was. After dynamiting his way in, he actually found some natural crawl spaces. He explored some of them and actually found a cave entrance. He explored the cave for about 2 years, and then he opened it up to the public with cave tours in 1945. While we are going through the tour, we will have to occasionally bend down. This is actually the largest room here in the cave. It is about 45 feet tall. Right over behind us being our Galena limestone wall. Galena limestone is made of compressed sea creatures. So it is said if you were to touch that wall and then lick your fingers, it would taste exactly like seafood. I don't recommend that, however. There's no guarantee you'll find a spot that was not used by someone already. All of those white protrusions you see sticking out of the ceiling, those are all stalactites. You might have heard the term stalactite and stalagmite. They grow about 1 inch every 100 years. Here are some of our bigger stalactites here in the cave. You can see that they are all very glossy. That is because they are all still growing. They carry water from the very top of the stalactite all the way down to where that tip is. That is what enables them to grow. They carry minerals all the way down. That is also why touching them is so dangerous. Human hands have little amounts of oils and dirt on them, so if you were to touch one of them, the residue would be left on there, which would halt their growth patches.
Cave tours are the main attraction at Spook Cave and Campground near McGregor. Beyond the deep dwellings, this popular spot has earned a reputation for family fun and natural beauty. Whether you're passing through or staying the night, cave tours are available to all. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining us as we work to grow our skills, serve our communities, and embark on new adventures. I'm Charity Nebbe. See you next time for more Iowa Life.
Funding for Iowa Life is provided by
the Pella Roll Screen Foundation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS. Pella Windows and Doors strives to better our communities and build a better tomorrow.
and by the Laney Grimm Fund for Inclusive Programming at the Iowa PBS Foundation.